The Stations of the Cross is one of the oldest liturgical traditions for Good Friday. Some churches offer the Stations throughout Lent. Some communities enact the Stations of the Cross on a route from church to church in a city or town, with people acting out the events at each station. Traditionally, there are 14 stations. Some churches hang plaques or paintings on the walls of the sanctuary or in a long hallway. It is a solemn service, recalling the last hours of Jesus' life. You may participate in tonight's video service by lighting candles. If you light 14 candles, extinguish one candle for each station. If you light 3 or 4 candles or 5, extinguish one after 3 or 4 stations until you have one left for the last station and the concluding slides. This virtual service is adapted from a Lakota service, the Way of the Cross, which was adapted for communal worship in churches by Jose Abraham de Jesus, minister and team leader for the Worship and Education Ministry Team, Local Church Ministries, back in 2006. I have adapted it extensively for use in this video liturgy. The pictures are a variety of classical and contemporary art. So many of these illustrations show up from blogs and church websites. I have attempted to track down and give credit to the original artist whenever I could. James Tissot's paintings are pretty recognizable. Others are not so easily credited, and I apologize for any uncredited work. My hope is that using contemporary art, we will see or feel something new in this journey, experience the scene in some new way, and thus gain insight into Jesus' love for us in some new and deep way as well. The first station. Jesus is given the death sentence. Jesus begins his journey to the cross by being betrayed. Pilate knows that Jesus is innocent, but he does not want any trouble that day, so he turns away from Jesus and does not help him. How many times have we let something happen to others because we didn't want to be bothered? How many times have we looked away when someone was being hurt or needed help? We remember the words of Jesus now. I was hungry and you did not feed me, naked and you did not clothe me. Let us never turn away from those in need and sentence them to die. O God, give us generous hearts. Christ, have mercy. The second station. Jesus is given a cross. Jesus is taken out to the street, and a heavy wooden cross is placed on his shoulders. He is already weak from hunger and beatings, but he carries it because he wants to. Each of us has something that is sad and hard to carry. Each of us has something we need courage to face. Jesus challenged us one time when he said, "Unless you take up your cross and follow me, you cannot be called my disciple." O God, give us the courage to face hard and difficult things so that our hearts and spirits can grow to be like you. Lord, have mercy. The third station. Jesus falls to the ground. The road to the place of execution is outside the city. It is long and steep at times. As Jesus carries his cross, he begins to feel weak and dizzy. Finally, he falls to the ground and has to be helped up again. Whenever we see someone staggering and falling down from weakness, whether in body or spirit, let us remember the suffering of Jesus and help them up if we can. They too are carrying a heavy burden, and there, but for the grace of God, go I. Jesus once said, "Do not judge unless you want to be judged." Christ, have mercy. The fourth station. Jesus meets his mother. Jesus looks up and sees his mother Mary, who is standing by the side of the road. They do not say anything, but their eyes say it all, as both their hearts are filled with pain and love. What mother could stand to see her child this way? Yet she could not stop it from happening, and her heart felt as though it would break. How often do we see people we love being hurt or hurting themselves? How much it hurts when we cannot stop it from happening. It's like the words of the prophet to Mary, "A sword of sorrow shall pierce your heart." Lord, have mercy. The fifth station. Simon helps Jesus carry his cross. Jesus seemed to be staggering a lot, and the soldiers were worried that Jesus wasn't going to make it. So they pulled a man out of the crowd and made him help Jesus carry the cross. Maybe this man felt disgusted and wondered, why me? Or maybe helping Jesus changed his life from then on. We do not know. But sometimes it is hard to help the poor and the weak. We get dirty and sweaty, or maybe even feel used. Let us remember the words of Jesus. As long as you did it for one of these my least ones, you did it for me. Welcome to the joy of our Creator. Lord, have mercy. The sixth station. A woman cleans the face of Jesus. Sometimes during a game, no one sees the person who brings the towels and water, but they are there helping the players just the same. In the same way, a woman stepped out of the crowd at just the right moment and wiped the blood and sweat off of the face of Jesus. Others saw a criminal, but she saw the face of Jesus and she gave him kindness and respect. When we see someone that no one else likes or notices, do we look deeper and see a creature of God? Do we show them kindness and respect while others make fun of them? Let us make human in our image and likeness. Therefore, in each face is the face of God. Lord, have mercy. The seventh station. Jesus falls the second time. In spite of all the help, Jesus falls to the ground again. He has lost a lot of blood, and he struggles hard to get up on his feet. Finally, he gets up and continues down the road. Jesus is determined to get to the top of the hill and keep his promise to be lifted up on that cross. We know what it means to fall down and have to get up again. We feel ashamed and discouraged, and it is hard to pick ourselves up again and try once more. We have to have faith in ourselves and faith in God to help us. Jesus used to say, "Your faith has made you well." Christ, have mercy. The eighth station. Jesus meets some women who are crying for him. Jesus looks up again and this time sees a group of women crying for him. All they can give him are their tears now. Jesus, who is suffering so much himself, feels sorry for them and tells them to take care of themselves and their own children. Sometimes all we can do for others is to listen to them and cry with them while they are suffering. Our tears are all we can give to them to show that we care. Jesus knew this when he said, "Blessed are they who are sad, for they shall be comforted." Christ, have mercy. The ninth station. Jesus falls the third time. Jesus falls for the third and last time. It seems as if he cannot get up, and the soldiers help him up because they are worried that he will not get crucified. They do not really care about him. They want to get their job done. Sometimes we are like the soldiers because we help others, but the only reason we do it is because we are thinking about ourselves and what we want. We do not really see what others need, yet what they need most from us is respect and the freedom to be themselves. How do we really love someone? Jesus told us, you must love your neighbor as yourself. Christ, have mercy. The 10th station. Jesus is stripped of his clothes. When Jesus finally gets to the top of the hill, he is prepared for the execution. He is stripped of everything he owns, including the clothes on his back. He stands before God and all people in a pitiful way, weak and shaking, but his heart is strong. His vision of what he must do has led him here, and he will not give up and turn back. He loves us so much that he gives up everything for us. He said it himself once, "Whoever puts his hand to a plow must not look backward, or he does not belong in God's realm." Lord, have mercy. The 11th station. Jesus is nailed to the cross. Jesus' hands and feet are nailed to the wooden cross, and then he is lifted up for all to see. Some people who are there make fun of him and ask him to come down if he is really the Son of God. But he stays there and does not come down because he is the Son of God, who is suffering that we might live. God takes the cross that people who are evil have given him and turns it into a tree of life instead. We would never know what God was really like until Jesus showed us. Some think the cross is foolish, but to God it is the symbol of wisdom. Jesus said, I praise you, God, because you have let the little ones understand this. Lord, have mercy. The 12th station, Jesus dies on the cross. To some, Jesus looks poor and weak on the cross when he dies. He is full of blood and dirt, and he looks like he has lost the fight. But to those who know how to see, he is a brave athlete and warrior who has won a great prize, the health and happiness of our spirits. When the end comes, he cries out in a loud voice, Father, I place my life in your hands. It is finished, and he has kept his promise. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. Lord, have mercy. The 13th station, Jesus is taken down from the cross. There are no words to say how it feels when someone you love dies. So it is for the mother of Jesus and followers when they come to take his body down from the cross. Without speaking a word, they take out the nails, hold his body for a moment, and then wrap it in a clean white cloth. The night before all this happened, Jesus took a round loaf of bread and broke it up into pieces, saying, This is my body broken for you. And he took a cup of wine and said, This is my blood poured out for you. Now here is his body broken. His mouth can no longer speak, but his body still teaches us about love. Lord, have mercy. The 14th station, Jesus is buried in the earth. Jesus was a poor man who did not own anything, so his friends had to borrow a grave from someone else. Jesus said about himself once, Even the foxes have holes, but I have nowhere to lay my head. And they lay his body in the grave. His friends are afraid that this is the end of Jesus. But as surely as morning comes after a dark night, or spring comes after winter, Jesus will live again, showing us that death is not the end of life. Our spirits keep on living with him in a new way if we only believe. Jesus stood in a wheat field once and said, Unless a seed falls to the ground and dies, it can never grow up and bear fruit. And so it must be with us. Lord, have mercy. Mary Porterfield is a contemporary artist who is also an occupational therapist. She worked at St. Louis University Hospital, often with patients recovering from trauma. The original of this painting was hanging in the hallway outside of the chapel in the Firmin de Loge towers of the old main hospital when I was a chaplain there. It is a large painting. It towers above you as you walk by it. Note the mother's eyes are not fixed on us, but are raised to God. God knows the pain she is feeling at the senseless death of her son. God alone can help her through her grief. Her face is a reflection of God's face, looking down in grief at all of us. The lifeless body of her son draws us into the painting, but her gaze draws our eyes to focus on God, from whom all our help comes as well. God may be able to change our hearts, but only we can change the world. Only we can end the violence. Only we can reach out in love. Only we can do the work God calls us to do, to heal the nations, to heal the environment, to heal and care for the brokenness in the world today. A print of this painting hangs in my office in case you would like to study it more and gain more insight from Mary's experience with trauma patients and her talent as an artist. In the beginning,